Most English learners reach B2 and then they stop. They don't quit, they just stop growing. If you feel like you're hitting a glass ceiling where you understand everything but sound like a boring robot when you speak, I have a hard truth for you. You are not the problem. Your system is. Everyone tells you to watch more movies or talk more, but you've been doing that for years and you're still stuck in the same parking lot. You feel like a diminished version of yourself in English. Today, Anastasia and I are going to destroy the B2 Plateau myth. We're going to show you why your brain is stuck in hospital English and the exact two-step ritual to break out of it forever. And pay attention. To make sure you actually apply this and don't just listen passively, I've created a complete B2 Plateau study guide. It's a free PDF in the description with our robot blacklist and the native stalking templates. Download it right now because today we're taking the training wheels off. Let's go. Anastasia, I see this every day. Students reach B2 and they enter this purgatory. They can survive any conversation. They can handle a business meeting. They can order food without sweating, but they don't feel fluent. They feel like they are constantly translating in their heads, always 1 second behind the rhythm of a native speaker. Why does this level feel so much harder to climb out of than A2 or B1?
It's because at B2 you've reached what I call the safe zone, Leo. Think about the beginning. When you are at A1 or A2, every new word is a massive victory. If you learn how to say apple or where is the bathroom, your world expands immediately. But at B2, you already have enough English to survive. Your brain is a brilliant efficiency machine. If it knows that the word important or good works in 90% of situations, it will stop looking for better words. It becomes lazy. You're not failing. Your brain is just being too efficient for its own good. It has found a plateau where it doesn't need to work hard to be understood, so it just stops.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. So, because we can communicate, we actually stop growing? It's like being a driver who knows the exact route to work. You can do it with your eyes closed, but you have no idea how to drive on a professional racetrack or handle a mountain road. You're comfortable, but you're not skilled.
Exactly. You're driving the same route every day. Most B2 learners are using what I like to call hospital English. It's clean, it's safe, it's functional, but it has no soul. It's sterile. When I was stuck at B2 for almost 2 years, I realized I was using the same 500 or 600 words for every single conversation. I sounded like a polite, well-programmed robot. I knew the grammar rules. I could explain the present perfect better than most natives, but I didn't have the flavor of the language. I was terrified of making mistakes, so I stayed in my small circle of safe vocabulary. I was a prisoner of my own correctness.
I think that hits the pain point for so many of our listeners. There is this invisible wall of fear. We are terrified that if we try to use a complex idiom, a subtle metaphor, or a sophisticated phrasal verb, we will mess up the preposition and look stupid. So we play it safe. We stick to, I think it is a good idea, because we know it's 100% correct, even though what we really want to say is, I reckon it's quite a remarkable achievement, though perhaps a bit ambitious.
Precisely, and the problem is that the traditional education system reinforces this fear. Most apps and schools are obsessed with correctness. They penalize you for small errors. But at B2, perfectionism is the enemy of progress. To reach C1, you need to start making what I call sophisticated mistakes. If you aren't trying to use words that make your heart beat a little faster because you're not 100% sure how to use them, you aren't learning. You are just repeating B2 over and over again for years. You're not stuck because you lack ability. You're stuck because you're circling the same parking lot, afraid to take the exit to the highway.
It's like we're waiting for a permission slip to sound like ourselves. I remember talking to a student who told me, Leo, in my native language, I am funny, I am sarcastic, and I am smart. In English, I am just a student. That's a very lonely place to be. You feel like a diminished version of yourself.
That is so true, and it's heartbreaking. That disconnect happens because we treat English as a subject to study rather than a tool for expression. At B2, your vocabulary bank is full of generic terms. If you want to describe a movie you saw, you say it was interesting, but interesting says nothing. Was it gripping? Was it thought-provoking? Was it underwhelming? Until you force yourself to use those specific colors, your English will stay black and white. You have to be willing to sound broken for a moment while you try to integrate those higher-level concepts.
So the shift we're talking about is moving from, how do I say this correctly, to, how do I say this like ME? But that requires a complete change in strategy. Most people at this stage think the answer is more grammar books, but it sounds like you're saying the answer is actually psychological risk-taking.
It's 10% language and 90% psychology. You have to realize that the B2 plateau is actually a sign that the old system, the one that got you through the beginner levels, has reached its limit. It's like a rocket ship. The first stage gets you into the air, but you have to drop it to reach orbit. If you keep holding on to your beginner habits, you'll never reach that native-like flow. You have to be willing to let go of being the perfect student so you can become the authentic speaker.
That is a perfect place to pause. We've identified the trap, the safe zone, and hospital English. When we come back, we're going to talk about the surgical tools you can use to cut through that sterile language and start sounding like a real person. We'll be right back. We're halfway through, and if this feels uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is the sound of your B2 brain finally waking up. But let's be honest, watching a video won't make you fluent. Action will. If you haven't yet, go to the description and click the link for the free study guide PDF. It's not just a summary, it's a workbook. It has the robot blacklist we just discussed, the words you are officially banned from using if you want to reach C1. It's completely free because I want you to stop being a student and start being a communicator. Download it, keep it open, and let's get back to Anastasia to talk about the shadowing ritual that will fix your rhythm. We're back. Now, Anastasia, in the first half, we talked about the frustration of being stuck in that hospital English zone. It's sterile, it's safe, but it's not you. You mentioned a technique that, to be honest, sounds a bit like a psychological torture method, but you swear it's the key to the C1 door. The robot blacklist. How on earth can banning words, restricting our speech, actually make us more fluent?
It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? We usually think learning a language is about adding things, but at B2, it's actually about removing the crutches. It's all about psychological leverage, Leo. Your brain is addicted to default settings. When you want to express an opinion, your brain automatically goes to the easiest, most practiced path. I think. To reach C1, you have to manually override that system. I created a list of my most used, most boring, safe words. Think good, bad, important, very, really, interesting. And for 1 month, I declared war on them. I banned myself from using them in any deliberate practice.
I want to dig into that war for a second. What actually happens in your head when you're in the middle of a sentence and you realize you're about to say a banned word?
That's where the magic happens. You're speaking and suddenly you hit a wall. You want to say, I think this is a good idea, but you can't. There is a moment of silence, a micro panic. Your brain scrambles. It's uncomfortable, it's sweaty, but in that gap, your brain is forced to search the high-level archives it usually ignores. Instead of I think, you find I'm under the impression that, or I'm inclined to believe, or I would argue that. Instead of good, you find compelling or straightforward. You are literally forcing the C1 brain to wake up because the B2 robot is no longer allowed to speak for you.
I love that analogy. It's like weightlifting for your vocabulary. You're putting resistance on your speech so that the muscle of your sophisticated vocabulary actually grows. But let's talk about the other side of the coin, the music. Because I've met people who have a massive vocabulary, They use words like pivotal and notwithstanding. But their rhythm is flat. They sound like they are reading a dictionary out loud. They still sound like outsiders.
That is a huge problem, and it's why the second part of my system is the shadowing ritual. But let me be clear, most people do shadowing completely wrong. They repeat after a teacher like a parrot in a classroom. To break the B2 plateau, you need what I call native stalking. You need to find a language muse, someone whose personality, energy, and vibe you actually admire. It shouldn't be a teacher. It should be a comedian, a scientist, a business leader, or a YouTuber.
Native stalking. That sounds intense. So once I find my muse, what am I actually looking for?
You aren't mirroring their words, you are mirroring their intent. This is the secret. If your muse is telling a story and they sound skeptical, you have to make your voice sound skeptical. If they are speaking fast because they are angry or excited, you have to match that high-pressure energy. You're not practicing English, you're practicing acting. You have to feel the stress, the pauses, and the messiness of real speech. Real English isn't a series of perfect sentences, it's a series of breaths, hesitations, and emphases.
I can vouch for this. I used to do something similar that I called mock meetings. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I would imagine I had to present a high-stakes project to a board of directors. I would set up my phone, hit record, and talk for 5 minutes about a complex topic. Then, and this was the hard part, I would listen back to the recording. Anastasia, it was painful. I hated the sound of my own voice. I noticed every and ah. But it made me realize that my problem wasn't my grammar. It was that I was holding my breath. I wasn't breathing naturally between thoughts.
That is such a common realization, Leo. We forget that English is a stress-timed language. It's musical. We focus so much on the what, the vocabulary and the rules, that we completely neglect the how, the music and the air. At B2, your English is a collection of static facts you've memorized. At C1, your English becomes a living instrument. But to play an instrument, you have to be willing to play a few wrong notes. You have to be willing to look ridiculous in front of your mirror, to record yourself, to fail, and to listen to those cringe-worthy recordings until you find your own native rhythm.
It's almost like we have to give ourselves permission to be messy. We spend years trying to be the perfect student who never makes a mistake. But to get to that native-like flow, we have to become a performer who cares more about the connection and the rhythm than the preposition.
Exactly. Perfection is the prison of the B2 learner. The B2 plateau is often just a sign that you've reached the limit of how far studying can take you. From here on, it's about immersion and expression. Most people quit right before the breakthrough because they think they've hit a natural ceiling in their brain. But the ceiling isn't in your brain, it's in your methods. Change the system from learning to performing, and suddenly that ceiling becomes the floor you stand on as you reach for C1.
I love that. B2 is not the end of the road. It's just the moment where you have to take the training wheels off the bike and actually start riding in the mountains. It's scary, it's uncomfortable, but the view from the top is worth every micro-panic during the Blacklist ritual.
It absolutely is. And once you feel that first moment of true, effortless flow, you'll never want to go back to hospital English ever again.
That's a powerful way to wrap this up. When we come back, I'll give you some final thoughts and a challenge to start breaking your own B2 system today. Stay with us. The B2 plateau is a choice. You can stay in the safe zone forever, or you can choose to be messy, be bold, and finally sound like you. Remember, your English is not a subject to study, it's an instrument to play. Download that free study guide PDF in the description right now. It is your roadmap to escape the B2 trap this month. Challenge of the day. Go to the comments and tell me one word you are putting on your robot blacklist today. Is it good? Is it think? Tell me, and I will personally give you a C1 alternative to use instead. If you're ready to finally break the system, subscribe to English Lab and hit that bell. You're not broken. You're just ready for the next level. I'll see you in the comments.